That's me, and that's the region right behind us. And I'm kind of a show off a little bit. And there was I peeled an orange yesterday, and I left like the last quarter of it sitting there. And I picked it up, and it's just a little bit hard on the outside. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? This still has to be good. And so I just picked it up, and I took too big of a bite out of it, and some of it went down the wrong passageway that is known as my throat. So I think I'm gonna wait for the rest of this to take smaller bites during a break. How you doing, Burley? How are you?
I'm good, Jim. Are you sure you're okay after eating that orange that's been sitting there for a week?
Actually, I am not okay. It has those little nodules in it.
Told you not to eat it.
You did tell me not to eat it.
It's exposed to all kinds of dust and contaminants.
I think that's it. There's a bunch of dust on the outside of it. And, and I ate it. Yeah, no, Ryan sprayed Lysol on it. We're good. It's 6:06 in the Calumet region. Hey, I still can't believe that Verly Suggs joins me because she is a professional broadcaster with decades of experience. And she agrees to sit with me on Tuesdays. And I have decades of experience also, but the professionalism part just never quite landed. And 294 around the city is okay, except there's some flooding near I-57 in the left lane. You got some continuous rain, some big rain overnight. 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65. I can't believe it with all this rain. Everything's moving along lighter than normal. How was your drive in? Okay.
It was good. No traffic, no problems.
So that is traffic brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda. And what do you have on the weather? It's 62 degrees right now. I read that wrong. I thought it was going to be colder, so I wore a big cotton sweater. This baby's coming off soon. And if you guys stay tuned, at some point what will happen is I will go to take the sweater off, and my shirt will go up, and you will see the body of an aging athlete, otherwise known as hairy white fish belly. That'll happen in about 20 minutes when I get a little too hot. Anyway, 62 degrees here. Tomorrow high of or today high of 68, and right now it is 61 degrees at local 395 in Portage, and it is 61 degrees at the new Carpenters facility on I-65. There is I don't think it's a public open house today, but I'm going over there. I don't know who's invited and who's not, but they're going to open up that facility, and we're going to have a little hullabaloo with a bunch of union guys, and I'm not drinking. It's the middle of the week. I don't want to show up with a headache tomorrow and just like blah and get mad at like little things. Nope. I'm just going to go there and celebrate the opening of the new facility. High of 75 tomorrow, partly sunny. Beautiful day coming our way tomorrow. Today, cooler with clouds and sun, though, so we might get a little break on it. But then Thursday, shower and thunderstorm around and a high of 75. And then Friday, high of 76, partly sunny and beautiful. Really, in the next 5 days, we should see sunshine at least for a part of the day. Weather brought to you by our good friends at Lieber's Local 41, of which I am a proud alum. And don't forget that if you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in business personal back taxes, call the tax doctor now. Learn how to settle your tax debt for less. 800-542-9112. All right. There's a little bit of stuff on the line right now, huh? What do you want to talk about, huh?
Well, first, I want to give you this gift from one of your listeners. His name is Jim also, and this is for when you're outside.
Oh, thank you.
This is from Jim Suber from Highland.
From Jim, this is a mini safety signal horn. Gino has one of these, and he makes great use of it. And I will be able to be outside when a big truck goes by. That's the idea, big truck. All right, let's practice. You guys ready? You guys are love. How does this thing work?
I don't know.
Ryan, how does this work?
I'm sure you have to turn something on, right?
All right, well, here, what's the new intern's name? William? Bill? Here, give this to Bill, will you? See if he can figure out how to work it, huh? I know his name's Will. Go ahead, do it. All right, I'm gonna do it. All right, you hit the top. That's it. Big truck.
See, I
What's
knew
this
you'd like
guy's
another
name?
toy.
What's this guy's name? Jim.
His name is Jen Subrit.
Hey, Jim. How you doing? How was your Mother's Day?
My Mother's Day was wonderful. Just laid back. Went to mass and then just had a uneventful dinner and watched Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, that's a great movie. Which
Yeah,
one? The new one?
The new
Oh,
one.
I haven't seen that.
Yes.
I wanted to go a couple months ago, and Alexa's like, she's not into that kind of European mystery kind of things. If it's not a crime courtroom drama, we don't go see it, or a romantic film. Oh, we went and saw with Amy Schumer, Chuck Schumer's niece.
Uh-huh.
What's the name of it? She had one about, accept your body the way it is or whatever it is. I feel so pretty. I feel pretty. But I don't get to go see movies like that if it's not a courtroom drama or romantic comedy.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry that your wife picks your movies for you.
I don't mind. Sometimes you cede power just because you don't want to deal with it.
No, I allow Mike to pick movies, but then I pick them as well.
Hey, don't you guys?
And then we can watch whatever we want also. So,
How many kids does he have?
He had 3 and I had 3.
It's the story of a man named Michael raising 3 children of his own.
Yes, we definitely have the Suggs bunch.
Holy, there's
and
only
all of my blended family, all of my wonderful children. I heard from them on Mother's Day, and it's no exception. We all have lots of love.
All right, do you guys know what reference I'm making when I sing that song? It's the story of a man named Michael raising 3 children of his own.
Well, they did remake the Brady Bunch, so there's a different generation that knew of the Brady Bunch.
Did you used to watch the Brady Bunch?
Of course.
Oh, I loved that show.
The Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family.
And the best one was a little bit later. I think you would have watched it at 10 because you were on East Coast time. But we watched it at 9, Love American Style.
Oh, I love American
and
Style.
It was so risque for the time. They're pushing a bed down the road, and there's people that are half naked in it, and it always involved with like a woman half naked in it. Every one of the skits.
That's what you couldn't wait for, right?
Wait, can't go to bed yet. Love America. I don't know why I like it yet, but I do know I like it. My nephew, I can't tell the story. It's inappropriate. I'm sorry. You know what I tell people?
When has that stopped you?
Well, I tell these, people are like, hey, can I say this on the air? And I'm like, all right, 99% of the time, if you have to ask if you could say it, you probably shouldn't say it, right? That's why you're asking.
Exactly.
And so I just use that. I don't say don't say it, but that is a rule that I should live by. No, I can't do this. This one involves my nephew saying something to one of my sister-in-law, and it was really funny and inappropriate because he didn't know what he was saying, but I can't go there. Hey, let's talk about why do you lead me down these paths where I'm going to get in trouble?
I led you, right?
Hey, a week
talking
ago,
about Murder on the Orient Express, and somehow it ended up with Love America Style.
It's a story. Hey, listen, last Tuesday, I was in New York City at this time going to a conference, and I very much appreciate you taking over for Tuesday with Michelle Quinn, Jackie Harris, and then Roxanne Paulson came in.
Yes, who is also a longtime New Yorker, even though she's a region person, because she spent a lot of years living in New York, working for Estee Lauder.
Yes, she did. Did she happen to tell the story of the cat coughing up a fur ball?
I don't.
No, she didn't.
We were beyond that. We didn't waste time on.
You didn't waste
like
on a child like inane stuff.
No, we didn't. We went straight to election coverage.
Debbie told me that you had 4 women on,
and a female producer as well, because we had Christina. Sorry, Ryan, but we had Christina Cortez as well. So it was the dream team.
And then the next show at 8:00 was women, and then the show after that was Debbie and 3 women from St. Catharines.
Yeah, Debbie had an interview with Jackie White, and then St. Catharines, I think.
Yeah, she had Jackie White on, who was running for office.
Debbie said, you know what it means if she's doing all these interviews. She couldn't find anyone else.
She does a good job. She just doesn't. She's like, that way I got to come in a half hour earlier. Hey, the elections came out, Let's just review a couple. I know you got
Okay.
plenty to talk about. Oscar Martinez beat the hell out of everybody. What happened there? I thought it was going to be closer between him and Dowling.
Well, I mean, he had the fact that he was the incumbent, so he was able to raise a whole lot of money, got into six figures, because he already has the contractors and people who had, some degree of confidence in him based on what he's done since he's been there. So he was, since the caucus took place, he's been, basically proving himself capable of handling the position. So a lot of people felt, you know what, he's there, let's give him a chance.
Hey, by the way, Christina and Ryan and Bill, have the Bill guy find when we asked Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson, I did yesterday around 9:05 or 9 o'clock about the ambulance fund. We'll talk about that, but she answered that here on the air here. Um, if it's possible that Oscar Martinez is going to be a great sheriff. It's possible.
Right.
And I'll give
Most
it.
definitely. I'm not going to take it from the degree of looking at him and say, oh, he's going to screw up. He's going to do a horrible job. I mean, there's things that people are talking about behind the scenes. But, I say give Oscar a chance.
And that's pretty much my lookout on this. Same thing with Donald Trump. I wanted to give him a chance, but he lies. But so I still want him to do well, even though he lies. But that's a different point altogether. And the same thing, but I can't get over the incredible Houdini job that was done by John Bunsich. I mean, he sat right where you are for dozens of hours talking with me on the air and
So
with local
Houdini,
listeners.
Tell me how you equate Buntage with Houdini, the great escape artist. Because Buntage didn't escape anything. He's in prison right now.
No, I guess that's the wrong. I want to do like there was this killer that lived here in the region, and he was a disguise artist, and I forget his name. He killed some people here locally in the 80s. Maybe that's a better example, but I thought it was one thing that was going on, and I thought that we were dealing with a cop who had to deal with politics to get his job, and that I was glad that there was a strong cop at the top of this law enforcement agency.
Now, I never really had confidence in Bunsich. He was a politician. He was a politician from the day he took office to the day he, actually was found guilty and sentenced. So I don't know. I don't have that degree of confidence that I don't think that there's corruption in the majority of politicians, that they're going to do whatever it takes to get in office and to maintain their position and to build their base. So I'm not putting anything, but there's no way I put that much trust in a politician,
Okay,
regardless
but you
to
see
what office they hold.
Therein lies the rub, because personally, I thought of him as a cop and not as a politician, and that shows how very little.
How could you think of him as a cop when he even held the position of Democratic Party chair? I mean, that should have shown you something right there.
That near the end, yeah, and that was later on in the evolution. But when he first came in, I'm like, oh, good, a cop. And
you didn't know him before when he was like giving out these little badges to people?
I'd see him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was politics right there. People having these.
Yeah, but you see,
get out of jail
you can interpret that in the context of saying, well, he's a cop that has to do this to get his job, and that is how I interpreted it. And quite frankly, it's kind of how I interpret it for Oscar Martinez, because he has been running forever, and I mean, he's been doing this for 10 years, I think. I'd see him everywhere. This guy was running and running and running, and because he was running all the time, it seems like they kind of pushed him. Remember, he did that drug interdiction task force, and so Buncich kind of banished him. I want to say that he had outs with Dominguez even, because he announced
did?
Yeah, he announced his, he's wanted to be the sheriff forever. So I don't know if I ask you, all right, is Oscar Martinez a politician or a cop?
I would say he's both.
More of which?
He has made so many deals with people, I'm sure. across this region to not only get in office but to maintain his position once he got there. That yeah, because of the fact that you have to actually run a political campaign to to win an election. Yeah, he has to be a politician. I mean, come on. Why do you think there's so many people supporting him? He's a politician. He's talked to these people and he's gotten them to support him. He
So,
knows how to hug and kiss people and schmooze to get into politics and I mean, he's a little bit of both. But he was a policeman before he was a politician. I'll give him that.
well, there's the definition there, and I guess it leads to the next topic on that is like, why are we electing someone for a cop's position? Why is that an elected position?
I think part of the problem is power, and we have three commissioners: Tippy, Allen, and Repay. And if they have the power over every position in the county, that's just far too much power to yield. And so when we look at positions like surveyor and recorder and all these positions that we say, well, why don't we just hire somebody to do it? Why are there elections? Well, then just think of the more power you're giving those three individuals.
Okay, and I understand that portion of it, but just think of this. If you disperse the power to elected offices and you disperse it amongst three people, then who's accountable? In other words, by kind of flattening out all of the power and the decision making, you don't. I mean, you say, "Oh gosh, it's so corrupt down there." Well, if you had one person that was running like a mayor of a city, like you have the mayor of New York for 8 million people, right? Well, why don't we have three mayors and have three commissioners? There's 5 boroughs, right? Well, at some
There's
point,
a borough president in each borough.
yeah, they all have a little power. And if
They have
you,
a lot of power,
I,
actually.
I don't know. Yeah, but you still have somebody that's the mayor of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And here we're like, well, we don't want a mayor of Lake County. We want a board of commissioners. We're afraid that if we have one person in charge, that it would be too much power in one person's hands.
But New York City is a whole different animal than Lake County, Indiana. You know, you're talking about New York
Dade
City, which
County.
is a city, versus East Chicago or Hammond, which are cities. And so New York is totally different. Most people can't even grasp the difference between what New York City is compared to a local municipality like we have in Indiana. There's no comparison.
It's like 14 times larger in population than Lake County.
Yeah, I mean, so
So
you
why
can't
is there
even. There's
one?
no comparison.
Well, there's one person in charge of it. So my thinking is, yes, you would give up the evening out of the power, but you would have ultimately make somebody accountable. Say if they hired a sheriff who was taking money, which he wouldn't need to take campaign money because he wouldn't have to run, but that's a different story altogether. You wouldn't have a sheriff that is running a political campaign, which is rife with conflicts of interest. And so my point is that I don't think that we should elect a cop.
Okay.
We don't elect the police chief of Hammond. We don't elect the police chief of Gary. Why are we electing the head cop in the county? To me, it doesn't make sense on the surface.
Yeah, I guess, if you date back to sheriffs and feudal law and back in the day when sheriffs controlled pretty much communities and collected the taxes, and they were the most powerful individuals, even probably more than the lords. But I
It's
don't
not
know.
gonna
I just don't want to
change.
see it. I don't know if I want to see that change. I'm not really sure because I mean, all right, just take the example of the 911 director. Okay, that person was picked by the commissioners. They just hired a new person for HR. Did you ever see that position advertised? I mean, they slipped that in right while the election's going on. Of course, Miss Royster, based on her credentials, sounds like an excellent choice.
Yeah, but
But
who's
but when
accountable
did you
for
see
that?
it? Who brought her to the mix? Who found her and brought her in? We don't know that. There was no transparency.
You see, and that is the rub that I'm talking about. Who's accountable at the county level?
Well, then it becomes a popularity contest. So let's see. Okay, so you have Tippy, Repay, and Allen.
Our,
Now Allen endorsed Michael Brown. Repay endorsed Oscar Martinez. Tippy's is he a Republican, right? So he probably Burzek, right? So how do you come to a consensus if they are all endorsing different people just for the election? How do they come and pick the right candidate? No, they leave it up to the people to come out and vote. Sadly, only 17% did, but it became the people's choice, not their choice, which is the way it should be.
She's Verly Suggs. I'm Jim D'Lo. I'm trying to have an intelligent conversation about politics, and I'm really just thinking about the NBA Western Finals. But the issue here is, should the sheriff be elected? All right, let's look at that election again of that sheriff's office, which I didn't really want to talk that much about because I'm kind of just turned off by the whole why are we electing a sheriff and the whole Buntage thing. But I think in a way it showed that there's a new put it this way, let's ask the question. Is there a new machine in town?
Oh, definitely. But I told you that machine was yielding its power during the judge election. And so
you mean wielding its power?
Wielding its power.
Yeah.
During the judge's election. And of course it's continuing to grow, and most definitely. I'd say McDermott is real prevalent in that machine. You have folks in East Chicago involved, Adrian Santos, Mike Repay, Hammond. I mean,
now yeah. Oscar Martinez,
definitely. So
don't mess with the machine.
Right. He's joined by one of East Chicago's councilmen, JR, who's actually working for him as his spokesperson or chief of staff, whatever he does over there. So, yeah, there's a new machine basically coming to the forefront.
Can we give it a name? Because we used to have like the East Chicago one, and it would be called the Pastrick machine. And if you were going to talk about it, you had to go like this. You had to go, hey, everybody, hey, want a beer? Hey, the Pastrick machine, blah, blah, blah. And you had to whisper it.
Really?
Because
I never whispered.
Because you were a little afraid of the whole thing.
I never afraid.
You know what? You weren't.
We have to talk about. We have to talk about that.
No, I want to give it a name first.
Give it a name.
We got to give it
Mick
McMachine.
McMachine.
No, let's see. What could we call it? You guys got any suggestions? Text me to 219-845-1100. Burley and I'll be right back because I want to get my teeth cleaned in the meantime.
I want to be like the pretty people on my TV.
Now you can.
All I need are gleaming white teeth.
We can help you.
Can you find the right dentist for me?
Dr. Andy Coulteritis, he does cosmetic dental.
Will he hurt me?
No, he's gentle.
I'm terrified of pain.
He's the kindest in the land.
He sounds great. Could you repeat his name?
Dr. Andy Coulteritis, 219-836-1111.
Thanks.
Everything Italian. That's what you get at Giuseppe's Restaurant in Cherville.
Hi, this is Joe from Giuseppe's Everything Italian. Here today to let our friends and listeners to WJOB know about the few things that we have added. We offer catering now, catering for your party, family event, or even for businesses. Just give us a call at Giuseppe's at 322-0011 and ask for Joe. Thank you.
Giuseppe's Everything Italian is located at 1000 Eagle Ridge Drive in Cherville, just north of the Showplace Theaters. 219-322-0011 or visit giuseppespizza.net.
Do you have a family history of heart disease or diabetes? St. Catherine Hospital Cardiovascular Prevention Center providers are offering free assessments to help determine your risk for heart disease and other related medical conditions. On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to 11:30 a.m., you can stop by the center at 7217 Indianapolis Boulevard in Hammond for assessments like an ABI leg circulation test, blood pressure, body mass index, random glucose assessment, and more. You must be 18 or older, and walk-ins are welcome. You have only one box. Let St. Catherine Hospital of Community Healthcare System help you take care of it. You can also call 219-392-7CVP to book an appointment today.
Hey, what are you guys doing? 631 in the Calumet region. I'm Jim D'Lo, host of JED in the region. This section is brought to you by RushRadiosurgery.com. And you know what? If you have a prostate problem and you go to your doctor and he's like, it's kind of big, and you want a second opinion, you want to go to RushRadiosurgery.com. They've got special machines that instead of 20 visits, they can get it down to 5 visits, and they can pinpoint the direction and the location of the waves and so forth a little bit more keenly, and you might miss less work. How does that sound? A high of 68 today, and right now it is 62 degrees at CertifiedElectrician.com along I-65 in Maryville. It is 61 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios in Hammond and the campus of Purdue Northwest. A new basketball coach for Purdue Northwest. I think we're going to try to have the guy on at some point around 7:40, 7:45. Boomer, and I don't know the last name. It's just Boomer kind of sticks in your head so much that I've lost. I think it's Boomer Roberts. He is an NAIA coach, so he's going to make the leap from NAIA to Division II. And a high of 68 today, cooler with clouds and sun. Tomorrow, a high of 75, partly sunny. Thursday, a high of 75, a shower and thunderstorm around. And then Friday, a high of 76, partly sunny and beautiful. And what do you have in terms of the traffic? 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65 are all moving along well. Hey, you guys got anything to say? 219-845-1100. Burley and I usually like to kind of talk to ourselves for half an hour or so, and we've already done that. So if you guys want to join in, what do you think? You got a name for the new machine? Used to be the Pastrick machine. Were there any other machines in the region that kind of stick out? Remember when Gary used to have a machine? That was back. That was a long time. That was before we came along. Let's see. I can't really think of that many. The Lake County Democratic machine. McDemachine, because you've got Martinez, Repay, Santos, McDermott. You know, if it was the three commissioners, Repay, Allen, and Tippy, that would be the RAT. That would be the rat machine because they're RAT, but we can't use that because Tippy's a Republican and Allen's not really.
So
part
don't
of
put Tippy in it and call it the rat machine. I like that name.
Ooh, Verley with the zinger. Hey, you had one more comment on the election.
All right, so this is my one comment, and this is concerning the X factor that a lot of people did not discuss, but I sure did. The X factor was Jamal Washington and how he affected elections. And he was running against Kyle Allen for commissioner.
Yes, he was.
His cohort, Levita Sparks Wade, was running against Kimberly Robinson for Calumet Township trustee. They both lost. So, on the Republican ticket, the X factor also came to play, and that was with Eldon Strong.
Yes, we didn't even talk about that.
Right. So the X factor of Jamal Washington caused Eldon Strong to lose his council seat.
All right, you lost me. Jamal Washington running in Gary and Maryville caused Eldon Strong to lose his seat in South County.
Not Jamal Washington running, Jamal Washington, period, as the X factor. See, Jamal Washington, because of his guilty plea in regard to battery of his wife, was still on the county council. When it came time for election, and he was running for vice president of the county council, instead of Eldon Strong supporting Donnell, he supported Jamal Washington. That caused Chris Jurgensen to be very upset that Eldon Strong would support Jamal Washington, and he chose to get in that race and run against Eldon Strong and beat him by 2 votes. So the X factor of Jamal Washington caused Eldon Strong to lose his seat on the county council.
Ryan, did we ever have Chris Jurgensen in here? It was with, I think I met the guy, yeah. Okay, why is this going on here? Can you turn this on? Yeah. Wow, Verley, I never thought about that.
That's because you don't really care about politics.
No, I do care. I think it's entertaining. I think it's honestly, that's about all I get out of it is just some entertainment. And some people don't like that, and they're like, they like to get me in some way because I kind of laugh at things, and you know who they are. And sometimes I don't even know who they are, but it's still kind of entertaining. So Eldon Strong, the Republican, was beaten by the upstart Jurgensen. Did he have a Navy sport coat when he came in here? Yeah, okay, I know who he is. Yeah, seems like a qualified guy.
Right, but he probably never would have even considered running or getting in that race against incumbent on the Republican. You don't see a lot of Republicans challenging each other. Once they have one in office, like Dan Donnell, who was he challenged by that could possibly beat him? No one.
What do you
Because
mean?
they have
I don't think
confidence
that's
in
a
him.
Republican thing. I think that's a Democratic thing.
No, it's
Because
not.
whoever challenges Pete Visclosky or Bernie Carter, nobody.
He had 3 challenges to race.
Stop, not a real one.
Yeah, he did. They just couldn't beat him.
Stop. It's not Republicans.
No.
That's more of a Democratic thing.
No, it's not. No, people get in the race against Pete, and more people will start to get in the race against him as, his
No
tenure
heavyweight,
continues to get
as
longer.
long as I've been here, no
But it's-
heavyweight has taken him on.
But the thing about it, most Republicans, they have confidence in the people they put in office, and they don't necessarily challenge them all the time. And Dan Donnell was not challenged to the degree that Eldon was, and it was all based on the fact that Eldon voted for Jamal Washington for council vice president.
I'm glad Verley's here to explain all of that to us. We still haven't come up with a name for the new machine, and I'll take those all day at JED at WJOB1230.com if you have one. Let's take some phone calls. 219-845-1100. Bill, you got to answer the other phone lines, okay? Hey, you're on local 599 phone line. John, how are you, man?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
Hey, nothing. Yesterday I read an article in the paper, and when I read it, I said, you know what, man, I got to make sure that this gets a little bit more publicity. And it may have been talked about, but I didn't hear about it. And it's revolving an act of kindness that the East Chicago firemen did. Have you read about it at all or no?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Basically, there was a young East Chicago fireman, and he's got a wife, and she either is pregnant or was pregnant at the time with twins, and he became extremely sick to the point where he had to miss an absorbent amount of work. And the fire chief and the personnel on the fire department, basically I believe they get 3 sick days a year. Well, they all decided to donate all their sick days so that this young man could be off of work and not have the stress of essentially not being able to provide a paycheck.
I did not see this. We saw it in a local paper, and
yeah, I saw it in the Times. And
okay.
I read it, and I said, you know what, man, this has got to be talked about because that's something that the world needs more of. You know what I mean? And it's just there's not enough of that going around. And when I saw it, I said, man, that's a great thing. I wonder how many people would be willing to do that.
All right, Ryan's going to work on getting somebody associated with this story on here. And
I believe the young man's name was Nunez.
La. Oh, I see what you're talking about here. Let's see. Fire department community rally to help good-looking couple, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Robert Nunez often tells his wife one of his favorite things about being a firefighter is seeing children who wave at the fire truck as it passes. During the past month, it's been the Nunez's expressing their appreciation for the support of the fire department and the community in the face of serious illness. All right, we'll see if we can get this guy on, okay?
All right. Take care, Dad.
There you go. Thank you. That's how it works. You guys have an idea for somebody, all you got to do is get a hold of Ryan, and then he kind of runs the thing.
East Chicago has a great fire department, and they have some of the best firemen around. And they are part of the community, even though a lot of them don't live in East Chicago. People in East Chicago respect their fire and their police department.
His wife, Kathleen Nunez, according to the Times, is due to deliver twins later this month and recently was put on bed rest because of some preeclampsia. The couple also have a 1-year-old son, and Robert Nunez is diagnosed with a ruptured colon. So they're having all sorts of issues, and evidently the rest of the East Chicago Fire Department has come out to support them with these days. I don't know. East Chicago firefighters currently receive only 3 sick days a year, and the willingness among other firefighters to step up is a testament to what they do for each other and on and off the job. Oh, I'm glad he brought that up.
Yeah, that was one of the things of contention in the fire department was when they lost a lot of their sick days. And so this is great that they came together to support this one.
All right, let's take some phone calls.
Number-
219-845-1100. Ryan, did you forget something? Yeah, that's
You had
okay.
Dave from Gary.
What
and
number
then
is he on?
MX. He's the first one.
Are you
Oh,
telling?
now-
Are you
Oh,
trying?
now Lefty. I pay attention. So it was Dave from Gary, MX, and now Lefty on top.
Hey, wait a second. So last Tuesday, you were able to sit here and do all of the stuff and say, "Let's do this, let's do that." How is it when it's my job now?
Well, it's your
How do you
job
deal
every
with it?
day. No, how do you deal with it? Because
I'm
see,
glad when you come in and tell me what to do. People are like, "Well, I like it. I got to make so many decisions in a day and in our lives. I just like it when here you make the decisions. Which call you want to go to? I'm fine. I'll roll with it. Let's go to Dave from Gary. Dave, how are you?
Awesome. What a great story about the EC Fire Department. That's nice, taking care of one of their own brothers.
most
And
definitely.
to answer a couple questions, both sides do it, Republicans and Democrats. When they have a strong candidate, nobody runs against them. It's both sides. It's not just one or the other. We obviously live in a predominantly Democratic area, and so that might stand out a little more. But both sides do it. Jed, and you say this is the political process in Lake County is entertainment and comical to you. I'm sort of with you on that. So obviously we were through the primary. We can all take a deep breath to the fall, and then it all starts again. But we could play a game. Who's going to be unemployed January 1st, and where are they going to land?
Mike
because we
Brown,
know-
Jamal Washington.
They're all going to land somewhere. I think we know that because obviously they got to get to 30 years in to get their pension. That's how the game is played. Somebody will pick them up, and they'll stay because there's no way in hell either one of them are going to the private sector because they expect results in the private sector.
Well, the thing about it, I don't know that Jamal is going to have a softer landing as Mike Brown will. But there's already
True.
rumors of what position Mike Brown's going to have. So I'm just sitting back to wait and see. People have bets on it.
I gotta
gonna
disagree. I
land
gotta
somewhere.
disagree with one thing. I don't know about Jamal Washington. Other than he could probably find a job doing social media for someone because he knows how to do it so well. But but I disagree
deal
with
in the
your examination of Mike Brown. I've always found you're talking about the black Mike Brown, right?
He's talking about the Mike
Yeah.
Brown who will be
The
without
other
a
is-
job.
Yeah.
The other is still currently our reporter.
Yeah, so Mike Brown, I always found to be a very capable man, and I think he could get a job in the private sector and pull results, or in the public sector and pull results. I've never seen evidence to the contrary of that. Do you have evidence you'd like to present?
Lifelong politician.
That doesn't mean that he can't do a job. I mean,
He does in Lake County.
No, that's going too far. I understand. I make
No,
fun of Lake County politicians as much as anybody, and quite frankly, it gets me in trouble sometimes. But I don't. When I see something like this, I haven't seen evidence that Mike Brown has done an incapable job in the clerk's office, or just in general in meeting him and getting to know him. I don't get the feeling that you're talking about, and you got to tell me why you have that feeling that he can't do a
What he's done in
job.
a clerk's office is irrelevant January 1st. All the history that we have in Lake County, not just with Mike Brown, because he did a capable job in the clerk's office, it's where they won't leave. They stay. It's just it is what it is. We
I would
don't
have
to
more
like it.
respect for Mike Brown if he does find a job in the public sector. But if he
Oh, so would I.
lands somewhere in county government or in city of Gary government or some other government entity, then there's going to be a lot of people out there who are going to say the fix was in. And I'm not here to put this over the airways, but a lot of people had that feeling that, he was in the race basically to help one candidate and to hurt another. So if he lands a job that is in the public sector, that will totally change my feelings about Mike Brown.
You think so?
No, wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second, Dave. I don't know any of this, so let me just translate. So is the word on the street, Dave? I'll ask you because Verley doesn't want to answer this. Is the word on the street that Mike Brown was in the race to erase the possibility of Rich Ligon winning?
There were several spoilers in the race. Yes, Jed. I think. Come on. I mean, you were gone that week at the seminar in New York.
On purpose.
It's been going on. Everyone knew there was at least 3 spoilers in this race.
Name them,
And
David.
Betty Dominguez.
Okay.
Mike Brown.
Okay.
Mike Brown also is in there.
Yeah, and who would be the other spoiler?
No, he wasn't. No.
Those are the 2 spoilers. So Betty Dominguez, in your mind, ran to take away Hispanic votes and from Oscar Martinez, even though she's Filipino, but her last name is Dominguez. And then Mike Brown ran to take away votes from Rich Ligon. Now,
Ligon was a legitimate candidate.
So why is, see previous comment, just enjoy the entertainment.
Well, I just want, you're a gambling man. You gambled for what, 26, 27 years in the markets? So what's the over and under? I'm going to say he's going to land somewhere because Lake County government takes care of each other.
So what's wrong with him landing somewhere? What is wrong with that? I'm missing this point. He was the clerk. He's very capable. You're not providing evidence that shows that he's not capable. He ran the clerk's office.
I will January 1st when he lands somewhere.
You're missing my point.
Yeah,
just because you're mad about him, just because you're mad that he ran against Rich Lee.
I don't think he's mad. I don't think
I'm
that.
not mad at all.
Dave is mad at all. Oscar Martinez was his guy.
Twice, and I like him. He's a good guy.
All right. There's something you're not saying, and it sounds kind of fishy to me. I'll talk to you. Let's see. What's your name?
Lefty.
Hi, Lefty. How are you?
Good. Hey, let's get with Mike Brown, okay? He'll land on his feet again and get a county job. He sits on the election board. He covers for these politicians on the election board. Number 2, you guys ain't mentioning nothing about Mike Brown and Dan Burzek, the votes that they got, okay, on the Republican side. And 3, Verley, last week your stalker, you and him were talking about, you told him that I can own a gun. Yes, I can own a gun.
Right, a nail gun, a staple gun.
Exactly. I can't possess a firearm.
There's lots of guns you can buy at Home Depot that you can own.
That's right.
Who's the stalker?
Come on.
Double M.
Oh.
Double M.
I don't know that he's a stalker, though.
You know what? I never
I
saw.
actually put a do not disturb. He can't call my phone.
Hold on a second. I never thought that Mayor McDermott was a stalker. Double M, is that who you're talking about? All right, I'll see you. Bye. You're just going to say something stupid right now. I want to know what you mean, like, by Mike Brown covers for the election board. What does that mean?
Well, when I filed the first complaint with the RV in front of the election board on McDermott, the only one that did something is when Eric Creek filed against McDermott. The Republican William Fine, he's the only one that said that this should be looked at and investigated. Nobody else would. Same thing now that you got Mike Brown sitting on an election board. They're all covering for each other. There's all kind of discrepancies in their campaign finance reports.
Well, Mike Brown actually has to sit on the election board based on his being the circuit court clerk. So that's why, he's the county clerk. He sits on the election board. He actually was an appointee to the election board under when Clay was there. But the thing about it, it's not even so much that he sits on the election board that's going to assure that he'll probably get a position. It's just politics, county politics.
Exactly. And then he was put in that race to take the votes away from Richard Lincoln. That's all there is to it.
How's that tinfoil hat going that you're wearing, huh? Everything's a conspiracy with you. You know that, right?
Well,
you and Chuck Pullen ought to get together, and I'll go buy a roll of Reynolds wrap, and we'll sit over here at the wheel, and we'll talk about it. How's that sound?
Yeah, maybe maybe you'll get better reception with us with them hats on at that station.
Bye.
That was a good one, Lefty.
I don't think it was that good. It wasn't that funny. Hey, we got to pay some bills. Corellis Roofing's recruiting. Do it.
At Corellis Roofing, we recognize that our employees are our biggest asset.
I don't know if I picked roofing or roofing kind of, fell on me. My name is Phil Youngie. I am a project manager here at Corellis Roofing. I came in here as a roofer. Here I am 20 years later, managing million-dollar projects. If you're willing to put the hard work in, willing to do your time, the opportunities are wide open here at Corellis Roofing.
If you're willing to work hard, we have a place for you at Corellis Roofing.
Men, are you taking Viagra or Cialis for ED? ED should not stand for expensive drugs. If you're taking Viagra, talk with your doctor about Sildenafil. Now you could get the same active ingredient in Viagra in generic 20-milligram tablets for less than $2 each, saving over $30 per dose. Available at Vito's Pharmacy. Call us 219-228-7200 or visit us at VitosPharmacy.com.
Vito's Pharmacy.
You know the great thing about Indiana weather? You never have to wait long for it to change. All 4 seasons on any given day. So when it's calm, sign up for power outage text alerts from NIPSCO. And the next time Mother Nature is in a mood, we'll send you a notification if your power goes out, along with an estimated time you can expect it back on. Just go to nipsco.com/alerts. We'll keep you covered out there.
Jedi's Garden Family Restaurant, located at the corner of Klein and Ridge, is Griffith's locally owned family restaurant with a down-home feel and made-from-scratch favorites you will love. Open daily from 5 a.m. to midnight, Jedi's has you covered with breakfast omelets, salads, stir-fry, seafood, and steak sandwiches. In addition to our award-winning lemon rice soup, 4 additional soups are served daily. Along with our recently expanded spirits menu, Mondays are half-price margaritas, and Wednesdays are $1 off domestics. Mention WJOB for 20% off your order. We'll see you at Jedi's at the corner of Klein and Ridge.
Well, we did an accounting of the process, and in fact, we reported this out to the council on Friday, and it turns out that dollars from that fund were spent to make payroll, and that was not illegal.
That is Gary Merritt, Karen Freeman Wilson. I interviewed her yesterday, and we'll talk about that in a little bit because Levita Sparks Wade and some others are kind of wondering where the $4 million went, and the mayor explained it. Hey, let's take a look at traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east from west looks good. The Bishop Ford's starting to get a little bit clumpy from 115th through the merge, but it's been worse. It's about light. It's a little bit lighter than normal even. And Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65, US 30, and Klein Avenue, all moving along well. Traffic brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda, right over here on Torrance Avenue. They are, happy to serve you. And don't forget, if you buy a car there, you pay Indiana sales tax, not Illinois sales tax. All right, what do you got in terms of the weather here? This one's brought to you by our good friends at Carpenter's Local 599. They're opening a new facility today. I'll be out there. I'll do a little Facebook Live video maybe, or take a couple pictures or something, and you'll be able to follow that on Facebook and Twitter. Right now it's 62 degrees at that new facility, going up to a high of 68. Here at the Strachan Van Til Studios, it's 62 also right here at Purdue Northwest, who has a new basketball coach. We got the guy calling in today at what time? 7:30? All right, well, we'll talk to him for a little bit, and then Verley and I will come back and finish up. But we have the new basketball coach for Purdue Northwest calling it. High of 68 today. Tomorrow, high of 75, partly sunny. Thursday, get a little shower hanging around, but also some sun on Thursday. Friday, high of 76. Partly sunny and beautiful on Friday. And then Saturday, a high of 81. Mostly cloudy, though, and very warm and humid. So not too bad of a 5-day forecast. And what do we have in terms of the markets yesterday? They were knocking right up on the cusp of going on to 25,000 in the Dow, right at 2489 and 999 or 899. But we're back down off of it. We're down about 99 points. So should open up right around 24,900 in the Dow Jones Industrial Average when that gets going in about an hour and a half. All right. Let's take some phone calls. Verley Suggs is here. Verley, all right, I ask you a question. What is more entertaining, the national circus led by Donald Trump, the ringmaster, or Lake County politics? You got to turn that on.
Lake
for
County politics.
Really?
Yeah. Because the national circus, I mean, it's like it gets to be boredom at some point because it starts out with Morning Joe in the morning and it throughout the entire day, the same old thing, the same old pundits over and over again, over and I mean, something that's entertaining could actually turn into boredom if you hear it too many times.
Oh, that's a good point. It's the story of a lovely lady who brings wisdom to the morning show. And you're right. I didn't even think about that. Well, you know what? I only take it in doses. I take a little Fox in the afternoon and then a little CNN at night. And then I dink around on the internet to read. And then I read the Wall Street and USA Today. And now I'm going to get the New York Times too. So I get like 3 different looks at it. But I'm not overdoing it. Like you're watching it all day long, aren't you? And listening to it.
No, sometimes I just can't deal with it. Then I have to start watching Designated Survivor or something. I just can't take too much of it. It's the same old thing over and over. They say breaking news, and then it's a story they started the morning with. Like, really, breaking news used to mean something. Now it's like the boy who cried wolf. When is it really breaking news?
It's like Wolf Blitzer. The Situation Room. It's crazy. Everything's going crazy.
Gosh.
Every day, Wolf? I get that. The man who cried wolf, there he is. He is Wolf.
Exactly.
The man who is Wolf. So I agree with you, but still, this whole deal with, having a president, and I'll just say it right, he lies, man. He just tells lies. But we accept it, just like the drunk uncle who comes over and, he's like boasting about himself, and not all of it's true. But, he gives money to charity and he's good to his wife and all this stuff. So you accept it, but what he's saying a lot of the times isn't
It's
true.
the difference between the drunk uncle and the president of the United States.
I get it, but we accept it like that.
I
and
don't
I think
accept
that
anything.
that we accept the non-truths is pretty good. Not that it doesn't make him a bad guy, just doesn't like the truth as much.
Ooh,
Okay?
wow.
So
I thought that was one of the 10 Commandments.
So the second part is the porn star thing, man. Come on, that doesn't get old. I'm sorry.
Oh,
And
God.
Dave Dennison.
It's definitely old.
All right, well, I
It really
disagree.
is old.
But on the Lake County side, I agree with it. Big truck, big truck. Wait, here we go. Double big trucks, the same big truck.
Save that for outside.
But then the Lake County side, let's see what Mad Max says. 219-845-1100. You guys want to call in? Hey, Mad Mac, how are you?
What is up, JED and VE Lurley?
Good morning, Mad Mac.
Really making some good funnies on that stapler toting lefty, huh? That's some good stuff there. That's the only kind of weapon your buddy Lefty can hold. He pulls up in the tow truck and says, "Hey, don't move. I got a stapler on me."
Hey, if you saw that movie with Dale Washington, he did a lot of damage with a nail gun.
Nail gun.
Which movie was that?
What's it called?
That when he's like some badass killing everybody and stuff?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
I
like a
forget the
former
name.
CIA
Yeah.
guy, and he's like really good with some tools.
Oh, he is one of the best actors of all time, man. There's nothing that guy can't do great.
Like Equalizer or something
Yeah,
like that. Was
something
that what
like
it was?
that.
The Equalizer.
Yes.
That's what he was. Yeah, he had he had the nail gun. So don't
Yeah,
underestimate.
he is fantastic. There's
Wait
no
a second.
two ways
Do you
about
think
it.
they're going to come out with something and have a little stipulation on his Form 1094-37X? It says Lefty can't have a staple or nail gun now.
Yeah, probably not.
All right, go ahead. What do you want?
So, two things. Hey, you should take politics a little more seriously because I got to tell you, I bet that mother up in East Chicago whose kid got his head blown off. But they thought, hey, maybe if we had a few more cops around here, like those county guys said they're supposed to be doing, instead of trying to run a towing conspiracy, they might have a couple guys around there and prevent some of that stuff. But the other thing is, you didn't really talk about the Trump rally too much, did you?
The one in Elkhart?
No, the one that was in the Bahamas.
I talked about it. I talked about it Friday. I mean,
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
It's kind of old news. What do you want to talk about it?
I thought you should have covered it, man. You should have went out there because I was out there. It was fantastic.
You know, I want to hit one part of that rally. There's a lot to it. And I was in New York. You know what it was? Is I called the president and I said, President, I'm going to New York. You go, you leave the East Coast and you come to Indiana and we'll switch places. But anyways, it seemed to me like it was an immediate rally in support of Mike Braun.
I think it was probably more of a standard Trump rally about a lot of the great things he had done that
I
week.
would agree.
And,
it was a Trump rally. It wasn't a Mike Braun rally.
I don't know.
He just won, and he happened to be there for the president to, push to the forefront. But it was a Trump rally.
Here's the deal.
I don't think that Mad Mac drove all the way to Elkhart to see Mike Braun. Did you, Matt?
I probably would not have drawn just if only Mike Braun was going to be there by himself. But he is Mike Braun. I actually got to speak with him for a few minutes. He is a very engaging candidate, and he's gonna mop the floor with Donnelly. There's no two ways about that.
I hope not.
Okay, let me write this down. Mad Max 702 on May 15th, the Ides of May, is saying that Mike Braun will mop the floor with Joe Donnelly.
I disagree.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that Joe Donnelly
any
is a
ways
moderate
you want to
senator.
text me, just let me know.
All right. Well, how do we define mop the floor?
Well, when your buddy Obama won by, I don't know, what 3 points or whatever, it was considered a landslide. And this guy, he's gonna win by 5 points for sure, minimum.
Okay, so
We'll
5
see.
points minimum. All right. I mean, I'm glad that you're pretty explicit about your prediction. And
I do remember I told you like 2 weeks before Trump even entered the race, I said, if this guy enters, he's got an excellent chance to win. And I can't, G-Lo, I'm telling you, as God is my witness, I can't remember you laughing any harder when I said that. You thought that was the funniest thing you had ever heard in your life.
Good.
Same thing when I told you your Munster referendum with those schools. I go, listen, your people are finally going to get their head out of their keister, and they're going to try to take those two knuckleheads who ripped you off to court.
How do you rewrite history so often?
Play the tapes, bro. Play the tapes. Hey, listen,
here's
your buddy Curtis Hill, by the
how
way-
I remember it going down. I
Well,
remember going down that saying a month before the election, starting to say, you know what, I have a sneaking feeling that Donald Trump may pull this out.
That's a month before the election. I did this 2 weeks before he even announced his candidacy.
All right. Well,
I'm not
I
talking
don't have
before
any
that.
recollection of it, and you remember it perfectly, so it must be true because
Exactly.
you always
Hey,
tell the truth.
I'll give you
All right.
one more pointer here. You know who's going to be the next rising star in the next 3 to 4 years on the national scene from the state of Indiana?
Todd Rokita.
No way. Todd's done.
Todd
He's
Rokita.
talking about
Todd
Curtis Hill, who the
Todd
president actually
Rokita is
loves.
going to be mopping floors in arenas or something
Yeah.
like that. It's going to be Mr. Curtis Hill.
President
That
Trump
guy-
really likes Curtis Hill.
That guy gave a speech, Jimmy, and I'm telling you, the people were looking at this guy like they would have walked off a cliff if he ordered them to do it.
Well, he's
What
actually
what
from
a
Elkhart,
magnificent
though.
man who loves law and order. He's for all the people. He is he's had a pristine career, well spoken, as nice as could be. He's literally standing next to me, and I'm thinking, who the hell is this guy? He's got to be somebody. He's got a great suit on, looking nice, everything clean, polished, and all that good stuff. And someone says, yeah, that's the Attorney General. I go, seriously? 15 minutes later, he's up on the stage, and he's got the rapt attention of everybody.
All right,
And
well,
this
Well, the
guy,
thing about
like,
it, you
he's
have
the
to
next
know
president.
that Curtis Hill is from Elkhart. He was actually the prosecutor there. So he's run for office in Elkhart. He became Attorney General because of his support there. And he's definitely a rising star, but there's always something out there.
Hey, I got him. I think I got him on tomorrow. We got Curtis Hill on tomorrow, and I'll tell him. Or a week from Wednesday, and I'll tell him all about your man crush. All right, 219-845-1100. Let's see how MX is doing. Hey, if Mad Max is there, MX is soon to follow. What's going on?
Let's get back to the sheriff race and how Mayor McSandbag lied. First of all, Dan Berzak on the Republican ticket got 11,466 votes. Now, our Oscar, he got 25,000 anti-votes. Now, the mayor lying, Mayor McSandbag, he lied about the Dowlings not living in Hessville when there's a Dowling Park. So those people ain't really happy at what he did. I think there's another candidate that's going to throw his support towards Dan Burzak. But as far as your McSandbag machine, if you want to test that machine, I know the mayor has said he wanted to run for governor and he wanted to run for the Skoska's job. Well, let the McSandbag machine run up against them. It's like this shit. I know you know motocross. And if you stay in C-class your whole life, you sandbag. McDermott's a sandbagger. You want to test your machine out? Go up against the big boys like I had to.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, be right back. AM 1230 WJOB 104.7 FM, the voice and face of the region.
Would you go to a doctor that isn't board certified? No, of course not. Then why would you trust in a lawyer that isn't board certified? If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, get someone that's a board certified civil trial specialist by the National Board of Trial Advocacy. Get someone with over 20 years experience who's a member of the Best Lawyers of America and Indiana Super Lawyers and has achieved the highest possible peer review rating of AV by Martindale-Hubbell. Get Gladish. Attorney David Gladish in Highland and his team will deal with the insurance company and its attorneys while you put your life back together. Experience, ratings, and board certification really do matter. Get Gladish. For a free consultation, call 219-838-1900, 838-1900, or visit dgladishlaw.com. That's the letter D, Gladish law.com.
Carpenters Local 599 joins with other Carpenter locals to build the local economy and has been doing so for over 117 years. We are proud to be a member of the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters, which is threefold: training, professionalism, and partnership. We also offer some of the best benefits in the industry. To find out how to become a member of Carpenters Local 599, contact us at 219-942-0518 or log on to ikorcc.com.
Ogren Insurance has been serving the area since 1947 and provides insurance for life, home, auto, business, and more. If you're looking for one-on-one service, the best rates, knowledge, and experience, Ogren Insurance is your agency. Our number one goal is to provide you with the coverage you need at the most competitive price. To learn about the insurance solutions and services we offer in Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or see our website, OgrenInsurance.com. Ogren Insurance, 6929 Holman Avenue in Hammond. Accidents happen. Be protected with Ogren Insurance.
Theo's Steak and Seafood sets the standard of fine dining excellence. Delicious USDA prime meats and steaks, along with the freshest seafood in the area. Celebrate your special event with friends, family, and associates in our private dining room that can seat up to 125 people. For information, call 838-8000 or theoshighland.com. Also visit our other restaurants, Prime Steakhouse, Umi Sushi and Lounge in Crown Point, and Ted's Family Restaurant in Calumet City.
With the weather finally starting to warm up, that also means ants and other bugs are coming. Rapid Pest Solutions is local and family-owned and does complete residential and commercial pest control solutions. Get rid of those pesky mosquitoes and take your yard back this summer. We have custom programs to address your specific needs. Check out our website at rapidpestsolutions.com. Call Rapid Pest Solutions at 219-922-2000 and mention you heard us on WJOB. You'll receive 25% off your first visit. Got ants? Get Rapid.
This is William Hatzel with your sports updates that are brought to you by Johnny's Tap. Purdue Northwest hired a new men's basketball coach in Brian Boomer Roberts. He was named the new head coach after leading Trinity International University to the NAIA Division II National Tournament in each of the last two seasons. Yesterday, the Supreme Court reached a ruling to allow states to determine whether or not to allow sports gambling and to create their own laws. In high school baseball, Hanover Central defeated Griffith 7-3. Hanover's Jose Sanchez launched a 3-run homer in the seventh, while Bobby Nowak threw a complete game. Highland defeated Maryville 4-0. Highland's Dmitry Ivetich pitched 7 innings and struck out 13. Wheeling defeated Bishop Knoll 10-5 in 5 innings. Wheeler's Mason Diaz went 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Whiting defeated Lake Station 12-5. Whiting's Nino Barbosa went 3 for 4 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs. In softball, Griffith defeated Hanover Central 5-4. Griffith senior Ali Schoen had a walk-off single to Hanover Central, their only second South Shore Conference loss since 2013. Munster defeated Lowell 6-4. Munster's Sarah Johnson went 4 for 5 with 2 runs. Whiting defeated Lake Station 13-1. Whiting's Valerie Christek went 3 for 4 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs. In girls tennis, Crown Point defeated Andrean 5-0. Crown Point's Anna Markismovich won in straight sets in singles play. Munster defeated Valparaiso 5-0. Munster's Grace Healy and Aaliyah Fergren won in straight sets in doubles play. River Forest defeated Griffith 4-1. Griffith's one victory came in singles play when Manzi Alanis defeated Michaela Brooks in 2 sets. In national news, the NBA Western Conference Finals Game 1 happened last night. Golden State defeated the Houston Rockets 119-106. Tonight, the NBA Draft Lottery will be on ESPN at 6:30, and the Atlanta Braves beat the Cubs yesterday 6-5.
How'd that feel?
Good. First time.
What's your name again?
William.
Where are you from?
Munster.
What's your last name?
Hetzel.
Did I interview you, or did you interview me at some point or something?
Yeah, back in when I went to Munster High School a couple years
Talking
ago.
to that mic there.
They did we did a story on like successful alumni for their anniversary, and yeah, I talked to you. Got to learn about you.
Alumni, really.
Mhm.
I remember that now because I think I laughed just as hard then. Well, thank you, William, and welcome to the team. All right, my friend.
Thank you.
And what college are you going to?
Ball State University.
BSU.
Yes.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. All right, and can you do me a favor? Can you take this off of here because if it sits here, I'm going to use it every 10 minutes. All right. Hey, it's 7:13 in the Calumet region. We'll have some more sports in a little bit. We've got the new head basketball coach of Purdue Northwest calling in, Boomer. Boomer is going to call in, and he is an NAIA coach, taking the step up to Division II. Don't know anything about him. We'll find out in just a little bit. Verley Suggs is with us, and Verley joins me on Tuesday. You got your glasses? There you go. How about you do that one, huh? Can you get that picture ready of for the Munster Police thing? And Verley, what do you got there?
Okay, it looks like
turn your mic on there, will you? Amateur.
No, that part is that I turn it off so that I'm not an amateur and say things that shouldn't be heard. The Munster Police Department is requesting the public's help in identifying a subject who stole several $100s worth of electronic items from Speedway located at 9600 Calumet Avenue in Munster on Saturday, May 12, 2018. The attached subject entered the business at approximately 10:25 a.m., took a display containing several electronic items worth hundreds of dollars. Then the subject fled the scene in the attached Ford pickup truck. Now, when I say attached, that's because we should be showing some pictures.
Yeah, she is right now. She's showing the pictures.
Okay, please note the subject's tattoos on his left forearm. He was described as a white male in his 30s, approximately 5'10" tall, wearing a distinctive Busch Bear NASCAR jacket. If anyone can identify this subject, please contact Munster Police Detective Tim Norsch at 219-836-6658, 219-836-6658, or email him at tnosich@munster.org. You can remain anonymous.
She's Verley Suggs. If you guys were watching it, we put the pictures up there, and Munster Police looking for some help. And all you got to do if you missed it, just Google it. It's all around the photo. All right.
We have to applaud the East Chicago Police Department for so quickly apprehending Shaquille McGee, the 17-year-old suspect in the murder of David Anderson, who was killed by a stray bullet on May 5th.
Let's talk about that right now. Evidently, there was some video of it. According to the Times, a 17-year-old boy allegedly captured on surveillance footage firing the stray bullet that killed the 11-year-old boy, Shaquille McGee, was charged Friday with murder, and he was still in custody without bond. The surveillance footage shows about 5:35 p.m. a crowd of boys approached another group of boys in the playground. Juveniles appear to exchange words before several males assumed fighting stances and begin to chase each other around the park near a gazebo. One shirtless male swings at another, identified as McGee, who then pulls a small black handgun out of his pants and fires one shot, which strikes Anderson and kills him. The juveniles scatter in all directions. So this is kind of a quick little thing. Pulls a gun out of his pants, boom, misses the guy he's trying to kill who's attacking him, swinging at him, and then he hits an 11-year-old boy.
Innocent bystander. You know, it's a good thing that East Chicago has those cameras all up throughout the city. They're now able to capture pretty much every location in the city. And so they were able to swiftly apprehend this young man who he's known as Keel, they say.
We do.
And
Keel, they call him Keel?
Yes.
17 years old, he can be charged as an adult, right?
Well, they're also saying that actually kids at the school, at Central High School, were talking about this. Teachers overheard. They were able to notify the police to the individual's name. They were able to look at the video footage and identify this young man as Shaquille McGee. It's just tragic. Of course, David Anderson's mother, despite all this tragedy, was able to donate his organs, and so he helped to save other lives. So he didn't die in vain, but sadly and tragically, he was murdered.
Where's the
in
Nunez
playground.
Park?
You know where the Roberto Clemente Center is? On Broadway, right off of Broadway.
In the harbor?
In the harbor. They actually are saying that this fight was between Harbor Boys and Calumet Boys. And Nunez Park is right in the harbor, right by Roberto Clemente Center.
Right off of Broadway.
Yes.
What is that, 100 and what?
It was around, it's like the 3700 block.
Yeah, okay. I know where it is. Wow, I had trouble with this one yesterday. A little 11-year-old kid hanging out at the playground. You know, I have I teach this broadcasting, and I had a kid who grew up in East Chicago, and I said, well, you know, why are you so into sports? And he said, well, I really couldn't go outside in my neighborhood, and you know, it wasn't safe to go outside, and so I was inside a lot of the times, and I just started watching sports, and I go, because, dude, you know, like the eighth player on Golden State's roster, what his assists per game are. I mean, the guy's just an incredible machine of sports knowledge, and I'm like, you know, where'd you get this? And I grew up in EC, couldn't go outside, so I just watched and looked at sports on the internet all day and all night, and that's kind of how I got this. I'm like, wow, what a statement to not be able to really go outside, and I don't know what you do with that.
Well, I mean, these kids were outside. They were outside playing.
Well, what are the moms
going
to say? What are the moms going to say?
Well, I mean, there is that fear now that this happened, but I think that there's a lot of kids in East Chicago who go outside and play in the wonderful parks East Chicago.
I agree, but this kid's situation. It's
not a city that you're going to drive through and not see kids out on the streets and in the playgrounds.
Well, his situation was that he wasn't allowed to go outside, and I'll tell you what, this is a situation that I don't even know what you say, but to the maybe we can get the mom in if she wants to, you know, express her feelings.
That would be a good idea.
Ryan, see if you can do that. I mean, you got to allow it. I remember when we had the killing over here in Little Waco of the young girl, and we had the mom on, and I got to know her, and she really said, hey, thanks for having us on.
Still an unsolved crime.
No,
right?
no.
Well,
they got.
I know they arrested some guys, but did they actually plead guilty or anything?
I think that they're fairly certain they got the person. Yeah,
good.
And I'm just drawing a blank on a name. Somebody will text me here, but you know, it's every once in a while the mom wants to come on and talk, and you just got to give her that option, and we'll see. I know that she's very much grieving right now. We'll wait until you know the funeral's over and stuff like that.
They do have a GoFundMe page that gentleman who runs the barbershop where David Anderson used to kind of hang out has a GoFundMe page to help the family if anybody wants to donate for the GoFundMe page for David Anderson.
All right. Hey, listen, I've got a few texts. We got to go through them. All right. MX is a dum-dum if he thinks the mayor is a sandbagger. If it wasn't for his leadership, we would not be where we are in Hammond. Mad revisionist.
Let me ask you a question. When he said sandbag, when he said sandbag, I actually thought he was talking about when they did the sandbags back when the Little Calumet was flooding and how they were able to save Hammond from doing all that flooding because they were so proactive. So that's how I took the sandbag. I took sandbag as a positive because, you know, he foresaw what he needed to do, but I guess he meant it something. He
Well,
meant something
sandbagger
different.
in golf is somebody who doesn't reveal their true talent or their true motives on the first tee, and they try to, you know, maneuver to get things into their way, you know, the bet in their favor, and then that way they can get what they want out of the round. And so I think he's kind of saying that Mayor's kind of sitting back and maybe gathering power and is kind of sandbagging. I don't know. I don't care. Stormy Daniels is smoke and mirrors so that Trump can do bigger and badder things. Let's see. So who was Mike Brown trying to help? He is a fine man. That comes from 219. Another 219 says Klein Avenue South backed up from the Mill to Michigan Street. I don't see that. Let me take a look on that. Let's see. McSheen. I mean, I don't know what we're looking for a name for the new machine. McSheen.
McSheen.
That's actually not
That's
so
a good
bad.
one. The McSheen.
The McSheen.
I like that. Good job.
There's another one that says the flip floppers used to be Republican, now Democrat. All right, here's a good one. Another one. This comes from 219 from a woman. She says the McSutton machine.
Jackie Sutton.
The Tommies and the McSheen. There's two.
I like that McSheen.
There's two people that came up with the McSheen. Anyways, we were looking for a name for the. Now, Verley, there's I guess a more serious side of this is that Mayor McDermott flexed his muscles in the sheriff's race. He said, "I'm going to kick Dave Dowling's butt," and he did. I mean, and that is something that is political capital. Where will it be used?
Well, it'll be used in the next election and the next election after that. I mean, of course, once you build political capital, you use it on all elections. That's how, you know, you become a proven vote getter. You don't just say, oh, well, now I'm going to skip the next election. It's just a continuous thing.
219-845-1100. See how Jamie's been doing. Jamie, how have you been?
Hey, I'm doing good. Yeah, I don't get the whole sandbagging thing either because usually a sandbagger like hides back in the weeds and don't let everybody know what they're doing. McDermott pretty much goes out and tells people what he's going to do.
Exactly.
And so I don't get that the way he used that. And then the other thing I had, you know, weathermen, they predict stuff every day too, and they're right probably 50% of the time. Mad Mac calls here about 4 times a day, throws out 10 predictions each call. Can't keep track of any of them, but then he calls and tells you how right he is. He's probably right about 10% of the time, actually.
You're giving him the benefit of the doubt of 10%?
I might be. I don't know. It's easy to say you're right when you throw stuff out there off the wall constantly, and you just hope one of them sticks. So I just thought that was kind of funny this morning.
Hey, listen, I got another one here while you're on. All right, I'm looking for the new name of the new machine, and all right, somebody looks like they've put together McDermott, Repay, and Martinez, the McPayez Mafia. McPayez, because you got Mick, Repay, and Ez for Martin. McPayez. I don't know.
Where is Martinez from?
He's originally from East Chicago, but he lives in St. John now, I believe.
All
I
right.
was going to say because I knew the other two are originally well, McDermott's not originally from Hammond, but I was say maybe you should make it some kind of Hammond. You know, Hammond does have the most power, though. We have the most voters. Well, we have the most registered voters. And you know the whole thing he said about Dolly and not living in Hessville, how that's going to come back and hurt Martinez. But there's a lot of votes that went the other way that Martinez is going to grab those votes now too. So that philosophy, I don't understand either.
And I think what's happened with the Republican Burzak getting 11,000 some votes. I think there's folks that are trying to say, oh, well, you know, Martinez, there's anti-Martinez votes, and he's going to get a big pushback in the general election. And maybe he does, but I just don't see evidence of it right now. And I think people are reaching right now.
Yeah, but don't you think some of those votes in East Chicago and Gary that Martinez didn't get, now he is going to get because people, you know how those jobs
They
go,
vote
they're all
that straight
looking for
ticket, though.
jobs and, huh?
Sometimes they vote that straight ticket, too. They just go in and, pull the whole Democratic
Exactly.
ticket.
You're absolutely right, Burley, and they preach that, and they'll start preaching that real soon.
They surely will.
Thanks a lot, Jamie. Good hearing from you.
Have a good one.
Hey,
Thank you.
Verley, we're going to take the new coach. I'm going
Okay.
to take him for 10 minutes, and then you and I can finish up for the last 20 minutes.
Right, because we have to talk about House Bill 1315.
What is it again?
You know that the governor reconvened the Senate and the House yesterday
Yeah.
to pass through some things, and one of those was big for the city of Gary.
Is in Indiana they reconvened.
Yes, Governor Holcomb.
I know, I'm kidding. Go ahead. All right, so what's that? Wait, tell us the big
1315 involves the Gary School District and the Muncie schools.
And what does it do?
Basically, they diminish the power of the Gary School Board. They only are sort of like an advisory board now, and they meet 4 times a year. And so now Peggy Hinckley, the mother-in-law of Chief Dowling, now I can say that because I didn't really push that much, will actually have pretty much total power over the school corporation in Gary, Indiana, in her efforts to move it forward. So we'll talk about that because there are lots of people who are against it. They sent a busload of people who left at 4:30 yesterday morning, heading down there from Gary. And it was basically a done deal, but of course, the Gary contingent of elected officials were there in full force to speak out against this. And it passed both the House and the Senate.
How do you feel about it?
Well, I have 2 ways of thinking about it. I think about all the years that the elected school board has been in power, and the situation that the school corporation is right now was while they were in power. So it showed a lack of ability to get beyond the politics of getting elected into a position and then fulfilling your duty as a school board member. A lot of schools that needed to be closed weren't closed because that school board member was from that district, and how was he going to explain to his constituents that we're closing the school in our community? So there were a lot of things because of politics that never took place, and then there were a lot of contracts and things that were given out because of politics, and now politics is being removed. And so people can say, well, we voted for these people, you're taking away our say. But then when I look at this last election with only 17% of the registered voters out to vote, it's like you didn't really take away anyone's power. If only 17% of the people put these people in office, then you have over 80% of the people who didn't even have a say at all. So, there's 2 ways of looking at it. But,
in a weird way, if you look at it, it doesn't matter what you think of the city of Gary. Everybody around here knows that Gary struggles in a lot of different ways, especially financially. And philosophically, you got to ask yourself, is it better off for any entity of Gary or whatever, but this is specifically the schools. The other entity I'm thinking of is the airport. But anyways, are the schools better off by basically the state having the say or by the local people having the say?
I have to say the state. And there are a lot of people downstate who probably have never even been to Gary. But I foresee that if you get a really good, strong school corporation, then that's part of the economic development. Once you're able to shore up your schools, then you become a place of choice. People can buy homes for a low value. You have good schools, companies come in, more jobs are provided, and it can be a win situation.
All right, Ryan, do we have Boomer calling or what happened? 7:30? All right, let's take a short break. We'll get Purdue Northwest's new coach, Verley, and I'll come back and we'll take your phone calls then. You guys waiting right now, just call back, okay? All right, be right back. AM 1230, WJOB, 104.7 FM. Also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube in video, the voice and face of the region.
Come out to Napleton's River Oaks Honda during the Honda Memorial Day sales event and save big on all new 2018 Hondas in stock, including Civics, Accords, CRVs, and Pilots. This weekend only, the first 25 customers get a free smartwatch with a test drive. Come find out why you always get our best deal at River Oaks Honda. As always, Indiana residents pay Indiana sales tax right off 8094 on Torrance Avenue or online at riveroakshonda.com.
Second to none since 1931.
Must be 18 years or older with valid driver's license. Limit 1 per household. No purchase necessary while supplies last.
Hi, this is Ellen from Quick Scripts Pharmacy, and here is your countdown of the top 5 reasons to switch your prescriptions to Quick Scripts in 2018. Number 5, your hometown pharmacy just got bought out by a 3-letter big box chain. Number 4, you go to your pharmacy and don't recognize anyone. Number 3, it takes 3 weeks to get a medication you ordered yesterday. Number 2, they no longer take your insurance and you just found out after you left the emergency room. And number 1, you just really love our staff at Quick Scripts. Wishing you a happy and healthy 2018 from our Quick Scripts family to yours. Stop into any one of our 3 locations serving Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana today.
Now, up to the tap, Mr. Fun! Johnny's Tap, now serving a variety of local beers, including Three Floyds, My Way Brewing, New Overfalls, and Zorn.
That's it. I'm listening to the voice in my head. I'm thirsty and I want to watch baseball. I'm heading to Johnny's Tap at 8050 Calumet Avenue in Munster. They have 12 beers on tap to choose from.
Johnny's Tap, the home of Mr. Fun since 1956. New ownership and now smoke-free. Join us for Mix It Monday, Taco and Tequila Tuesday, Whiskey Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, and Fireball Friday. Johnny's Tap.
Just keep smiling and doing radio. 7:33 in the Calumet region. Let's take a look at what's going on in the Tarfik 294 around the city. Despite a little bit of flooding on 294 by I-57, is moving along well. Going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford's starting to get clumpy. Christina Cortez is going to put the traffic thing up there, and you could see that starting after the Steel Bridge all the way up the southern end of the Dan Ryan. It's pretty bad right now, so I don't know what you're going to do with that. It's just kind of concentrated to that area, but if you don't like waiting in the southern end of the Dan Ryan, I wouldn't go that way. Other than that, it's wide open to get there, and then it's wide open after, actually. It's pretty, there's actually a decent amount of open roadway after the Skyway merge. Skyway looks good, so does the toll road. Portman, I-65, US 30, and Klein Avenue all look pretty good. And traffic is brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda right here in Lansing, Illinois. Let's take a look at what's going on with the weather, brought to you by our good friends at Laborers Local 41, a high of 68 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest. And it should actually not be a bad day later, cooler with clouds and sun. A high of 75, partly sunny, and tomorrow. And then Thursday, another high of 75. You might have a thunderstorm on Thursday. Then Friday, a high of 76, partly sunny and beautiful. And what do you have in terms of the business right now? The markets are down about 100 overnight. No, down about 70 now on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, knocking on the door of 25,000 on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And the markets just continue to go up. And we're getting near full employment in America right now. All right, guys. 2 big decisions we're kind of waiting on around here. One is the new head football coach of Munster High School. Haven't heard that one yet. But we did get yesterday the announcement of a new college basketball coach coming to Purdue Northwest right around the corner here. And his name is Boomer Roberts, and he is on line 599. Boomer, congratulations.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me on.
It's been if you guys have followed this, it's kind of a bittersweet moment in here, and that somebody that we all came to know and love died, and we had to get a new coach, and Matt Bush passed away, and then Rick Costello and Chancellor Tom Keon went on a search, and so we get past the the grieving that we've done here on the air for quite some time. But today's a time for celebration because it's a new era. Boomer, how'd you find out?
Well, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, I mean, how did they let you know? Was it a email? I'm just kind of curious. Did you get a phone call, and were you hugging the wife at the time, or how'd you get the news? I mean, I'm trying to. It's not been easy. You know, it was a 1-win season. Matt Bush was fighting fighting an illness the whole time, and he finally died, and it hasn't been easy. So I'm trying to give a little bit of joy in this process right now by switching it over to your. So that's the question. How'd you find out?
Well, when Chancellor Keon and Rick Costello, when they offered the job, I kind of looked at my wife and I said, "Are they sure they know who they're offering this to?" It was one of those things where we were. It was, you mentioned bittersweet, and I knew Coach Bush. We sat next to each other at recruiting events, and he was a really good basketball coach. And I know his family and the guys went through a lot this last year, and they were really competing hard, even till the end, which is just a testament to him and his staff. So that needs to be said first. But we're really excited. When the phone call came, that conversation had. It's bittersweet for us because we're leaving something that is pretty special to us as well. But it's time. It's time for us to step up to this new challenge, and we're really excited to get going.
Tell us about your 4-year stint at Trinity International out in Deerfield.
My wife and I are both West Coast people, originally from Arizona, met in college in California. Never thought we would be in Deerfield, Illinois, or Hammond, Indiana, to be honest with you. But God has a funny way of getting us where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there, and that's what I would describe Trinity as for us. I was on staff at Vanguard University in NAI out in California. I was the top assistant, and we had just won the national title in 2014, and I got an opportunity to be a head coach at Trinity. They were not good, to put it lightly, and it was one of those things where, hey, you really want to move your family across the country into everything unknown to a team that hasn't been 500 in 20 years, and they got that white stuff that falls from the sky, and it's pretty cold out there. But we took a leap of faith. We trusted that's where God wanted us to be, and we jumped in with both feet. And 4 years later, you look back, and everybody sees the banners and the winning and more wins than anybody in Illinois and the greatest 3-year turnaround, all that stuff. That SIDs love that stuff, ADs love that stuff, and I'm very thankful for it, the success on the court we've had. But to us, it's the relationships, the guys we've been able to impact, the family trees that we've helped change for the better. There's been a lot of good dudes that came through our program that are family to me and to my family and my boys. And so it's like I said, it's bittersweet telling the guys that we're not going to be their coach anymore. It was very difficult because those are my guys for life. So we had a great 4-year run, worked for some amazing people, worked with some really good people. And obviously we tasted success. Last couple of years, we went to the national tournament, went to the Elite Eight in 2017, won 30 games. So we experienced some incredible highs at Trinity.
What was it about the Purdue Northwest job that is appealing to you?
A lot of things. Well, number one, when you look at Chancellor Keon and Rick Costello and their drive, they're driven to make Purdue Northwest known for excellence. And I wanted to be at a place that they have the same drive as I do, and those two gentlemen obviously do. They've worked really hard to get it where it's at, and are going to work hard, to push it forward. Obviously, the Purdue degree is very prestigious, and that's something that's not hard to articulate, just because it's one of the top public institutions in the country. The location, recruiting wise, is a big positive for us. You can get a lot of kids from Indiana, and you're close enough to Chicago, Milwaukee, things like that. That there's really good basketball, and ultimately, to be honest with you, I'm really excited about the guys on the roster. Like you mentioned, it's been a tough go for them this past year, and I know the GLIAC is very, very good. A lot of good coaches, and it's tough to get a win on any night. But I'm excited to let them taste some success, hopefully, to see that, this coaching staff, myself, my assistant, we're going to be in the fight with them, and just remind them who they are and what they can be. So we're looking forward to that.
We're talking to Brian Boomer Roberts. He has been accepted the job as the new head basketball coach over here at Purdue Northwest. Those of you watching and listening, many of you know that we are on the campus of Purdue Northwest and are very excited, just like everybody here in the Calumet region, that we have gone from NAIA, where Boomer coached, where he was coaching at Trinity International for the last 4 years, to Division II basketball and to Division II all sports. It's been quite the transition year, as you guys well know. We broadcasted and I announced many of the PNW games, and they only won one. And I remember the one that we did win, and I interviewed Matt Bush right after it. And I got to tell you, I rewatched that the other day, and it was just incredibly sad moment to watch that. But at least Matt got that one win and was able to transition the program. Brian Boomer comes into a situation with one win, but he also comes into a situation with a large university that has just entered Division II. And Boomer comes in with an 84-48 overall record, 640 win percentage over 4 seasons at Trinity International University. Boomer, moving forward here at Purdue Northwest, you come into an area that is really heavy basketball. We've never really had our own kind of big Purdue University. We kind of looked to Lafayette. We looked to Valparaiso. What is it that you want to see happen here at Purdue Northwest over the next few years from what, little you may know about it right now? Give us an idea of some of your goals.
Sure. And I don't mean to correct you on air, but they got 2 wins. We got 2 wins last year. So I believe if the schedule's right, 2's not great, but
was it 2 wins, Ryan? Purdue Northwest got 2
so.
wins. Yeah, we're gonna look. You know what? If they did, I missed one of them. But
hey, you take everything you can get, right?
Yeah, it's 2 wins. All right, Ryan's saying it's 2 wins. My fault. It's a 1 win in the GLIAC. That's what it was. So
no worries.
Yeah. So what do you want to do here?
You know what? I think we all recognize the challenge ahead. It's a big leap to go from where we are now to where we want to get to. And you mentioned goals. There's things daily that we're gonna work on and try to instill. And I know that's coach speak, but really the big picture doesn't come into place until you handle the little things. So we have a philosophy that we're gonna try to play and act and be on and off the court. But I would say the goals for us, first we got to, myself specifically, we got to figure out our guys. We got to dive into life, and our whole thing is being in the fight with our guys. And you can't. Every coaches talk about raising the level, right? Get to my level. They want their student athletes, their guys, to get to their level. With millennials and with different guys nowadays, you really got to get to their level and lift them up with you to your level if you're going to have any success. That's one of the benefits we bring. We're a young staff, and I think we relate to the guys pretty well because it's not too long ago, we were in their shoes, and we've experienced that. But in terms of goals, we want to be able eventually, obviously, to compete in the GLIAC for GLIAC championships and nationally. Basketball-wise, we're a little bit away from that. Another goal we have is at that Northwest Indiana region, really proud. That's been something that when we came on campus, my wife and I, we heard that people are hungry for a winner. They're hungry for something they can rally behind. And again, that's going to take a lot of work, rolling up the sleeves and putting the head down and going to work. But we'd love to be able to provide that. You know, it's something that we think hopefully we can get done. And then obviously in the classroom, we want to recruit elite student athletes that are going to go to class and do well and perform well in the classroom. Purdue Northwest has such a high academic standard that we're excited about reaching, but it's definitely a challenge. So if we can get the right guys and they can come in and really enjoy their time, we're going to compete to try to win a lot of games. We want to graduate the right dudes as well, obviously. And then I think all of that, Jim, you know, encompassing all that is we want to be a family. There's a lot of good basketball coaches. I'm walking into a state that is known nationally. Growing up in Arizona, you hear about Indiana basketball. The fans, the coaches, the following, it's incredible. We want to be family, and we want to do family better than anybody else. And if we can establish that culture of I've got your back, you've got my back, we're in this thing together, we are in the fight together, then we feel like those goals on the court, in the classroom, all that stuff, we're moving towards them together. And if we can do that over time, hopefully you'll see results.
You got it. Boomer Roberts coming in to Northwest Indiana as the new head basketball coach. It's been a kind of an extensive process since the death of Matt Bush to find Boomer. And Boomer, welcome to the Calumet region. Anything else you want to add to tell folks?
No, Jim, I appreciate you guys having me on. One of the things we'd love to do as we get going is to fill that place, you know, both in Hammond and in Westville, to get a following. And obviously we know that's earned, but it's something that I've seen firsthand at both my previous institutions. When you get a winner on the court and off the court, people rally around it. And I know these guys will be working hard to represent Purdue Northwest and Northwest Indiana at the highest level they can. So if you are listening out there, we'd love to introduce ourselves as a family when we get down there and to have you guys at as many games as possible. We're really excited.
Right there with you, man. Let's fill this place. Division II basketball, we've been talking about it all year long. It's just an amazing level. It's been a huge jump up from the NAIA competition. And you're right, I forgot about the Tiffin victory. It was out in Westville, and it was the late victory on February 15th. But congratulations, Boomer. We're very much looking forward to bringing a winner here to Northwest Indiana. So thanks for calling in today.
Thanks, Jim. Have a good one.
You too. All right, guys. Burley Suggs and I finish up right now.
Hey, who's ready for Polish, huh? Come on, eh?
Who's ready for a Polish?
Who's ready for a Polish? Who's ready for a Polish? Who's ready for a Polish?
Who's ready for a Polish? Who's ready for a Polish?
Who's ready for a Polish?
Vodka Johnny is ready for a Polish.
Who's ready for a Polish?
Who's ready for a Polish? Who's ready for a Polish? Oh, Lord, who's ready for a Polish?
Who's ready for a beer? Who's ready for a Polish?
Big Frank Sausage, 1417 Carroll Street, right here in beautiful Roxana, East Chicago. 219-378-9556. Smacznego i na zdrowie.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers you see building Northwest Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Tradewinds and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, and contribute to all of our local communities' economic growth. To find out more about these organizations, visit ironworkers395.com or nwicontractors.org.
When you're in the dark, where do you turn to find a trusted professional who can assure the safety of your home or business electrical system? Certified Electrician is here to help. Looking for a highly skilled electrical contractor for your next construction project? CertifiedElectrician.com is where to find one. We connect you with pre-screened electrical professionals living right here in Northwest Indiana. Experts in residential, commercial, voice data video, and signage. Certified Electrician can fulfill all your electrical needs. Visit CertifiedElectrician.com.
Rush Radiosurgery deploys revolutionary technology in the fight against prostate cancer in just 5 outpatient treatments. With radiosurgery treatment for prostate cancer, there is no pain, no surgery, and you can go back to your normal activities right after treatment. Prostate cancer does not fight fair, and neither should you. For more information, contact Rush Radiosurgery at 312-942-4600 or visit us at rushradiosurgery.com.
No case is typical. Results will vary by patient, and there's no guarantee other patients will experience these results.
Zippity doo dah, zippity day, 7:51 in the middle of May. And let's talk about traffic. 294 around the city looks good if you want to go to O'Hare or to Midway. 80 going east and west looks good to Bishop Ford. Has trouble at the merge and on the southern end of the Dan Ryan. So a mild watch to Bishop Ford. Once you get past 67th, though, it's surprisingly open. I don't know why. Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65, US 30, and Klein Avenue are all moving along pretty well. Traffic brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. And then what do you have in terms of the weather? Is high of 68 today, cooler with clouds and sun. Tomorrow, high of 75 and 75 all the way through the end of the week. And then over the weekend, it gets up to the 80s. Should actually see some sunshine later. Should be a nice day later. And then same thing tomorrow, beautiful day, high in the mid-70s. Thursday, maybe a little bit of rain here and there, but you also get some sunshine on Thursday. Weather brought to you by our good friends at CertifiedElectrician.com. If you need electrical work done, have an electrical contractor who is union do it for you. Markets are down about 70 overnight on the Dow. Verley Suggs is here. Verley, let's go back to what's going on in the Gary School Board, but I know you want to talk to Charlie.
Of course. Charlie's been
let's
waiting
go to
patiently.
Charlie.
Wow.
Charlie, I am so sorry that you had to wait so long. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing? I'm not feeling so good.
Really? Talk to us. What's happening?
Nothing. I'm in pain. I had to see my doctor tomorrow and stuff. So what's new with you?
So talk to us, man. I mean, you haven't got the kind of pain you can't sleep or what?
No, I'm just having trouble with. I'm just having trouble. I see my doctors tomorrow. I see my cardiologist and my radiologist.
Okay.
So what's new with you guys?
Verley is in with me today. It was Happy Mother's Day. She had a good Mother's Day, right?
Yeah. Charlie, I'm sorry you're not feeling well.
Thank you. And so you're going to be on next Tuesday, or you're going to have another?
No, I should be here next Tuesday. It's been about 3 weeks since Jim and I have been together. Yes.
Let's have another voice, Jim.
All right.
Maybe Dave the Baker.
Yeah, maybe we could have Dave the Baker.
Well, I can definitely stay home next week. That's not a problem.
And maybe somebody else.
All right. Well, you think about who you'd like to have on with me. You want Billy Baker, the troublemaker?
No.
You want
one Johnny and Steve.
we could have them.
When are they coming back?
Whenever you want me to have them back.
Next week or after next week.
Okay. All right. I'll work on it.
You have to work on it because if not, I'm not going to listen to you anymore.
Okay. All right, Charlie. I hope you feel better tomorrow. Call us on Thursday and tell us how it went with your doctor. Okay.
But when we going to have a new voice?
Okay. Well, I think we just went over that, and I'll tell you what. You call me Thursday and tell us how the doctor went. All right, buddy. Talk to you. Hey, talk to us about the Gary School Board and what's going on. Now, there's this special session. Was it called just to deal with the Gary School Board?
Well, it was called to deal with that as well as some tax issues and also some money going into safety for the schools throughout the state of Indiana. Remember, the special session was called by Governor Holcomb because at the final session, nothing got accomplished that was planned to be accomplished. And so people in Gary, they felt that, when the session ended, this didn't pass, they felt like, a sigh of relief. But when the governor called the session back, then they knew it was probably going to be a done deal. So I think it was expected by most people.
I sat here. By the way, big truck, big truck, big truck, big truck.
That's so important.
We sat here for months, and I had Dan Carden every Monday on, the Jeopardy King, and he would call in and I'd say, well, what's going on down there? He's like, they're really not doing too much down here. So nobody's doing anything for months. and then all of a sudden they can't get everything done at the end, and we got to call a special session. It's kind of stupid.
I know, especially when you have one party that's in control, there's really an excuse for it. It's not like the Democrats and the Republicans are fighting over this issue and that issue and it can't move through committee. Well, I mean, the Republican Party has been in control for a number of years now, and moving things through committee should be pretty easy when you're the ones that are controlling everything. But one thing other school corporations should be aware of is that if it can happen to Gary and it's happening to Muncie, then it can happen to East Chicago, where they have failing schools, or any other community. If their schools start to fail, they can just come in and usurp the elected school board. Now, I know, having lived in East Chicago for a number of years, when we had an appointed school board and how hard we fought to get an elected school board, and that could possibly change. At one time, Gary had an appointed school board. They fought and had an elected school board, and now they're basically an advisory committee. Now, one school board member, I have to say, did jump ship before the ship went down, and that's James Piggy, because he actually ran for Calumet Township Advisory Board and was elected. So in January, he'll actually have a job.
Let's talk about Mikulik.
It's easy to say that you have some type of mental illness or addiction when you get caught doing wrong. Isn't that the way that most people do it?
You know, it's a sad story, really. I mean, the ex-Lake County cop, he's pleading guilty but mentally ill in a 2016 hit and run. And according to the Post-Tribune, a former Lake County police officer pleaded guilty but mentally ill Monday on charges stemming from a 2016 hit and run at the Gary Air Show. Guy Mikulich? What have you heard? Mikulich, 39, received no jail time as part of a plea agreement reached in the case. Mikulich, who was in uniform, struck Derek Dirks of Frankfort Square in Illinois with his county-issued unmarked Ford Crown Vic and fled the scene on July 10th of 2016. After Mikulich had worked security at the air show, Dirks was packing up his minivan with his family when he was struck. My children watched in horror as their father laid unconscious on the ground, thinking he was dead. Maureen Dirks, Derek Dirks' wife, said tearfully Monday in court. Mikulich spoke directly to Maureen and her family, said, "I am so sorry. The only thing that I want is your forgiveness."
Now, is he sorry because he got caught? Because he actually left the scene. And I'm sure it would have been covered up if there hadn't been footage of him having done this. So, you know, I always question when people are sorry. Are you sorry after the fact because you were caught? Or are you sorry because you exercised poor judgment? Are you sorry because you were drinking on the job? Are you sorry because you hit somebody? You know, you're so sorry. But yet and still you're not only pleading guilty, you're trying to put a caveat to that.
Well, it's a sad story altogether. You know, they got a civil suit. They're going after the guy. I don't know how much money he has or whatever.
Well, they can go after not just the guy. They can go after the county because was he working under, he was working. Was he working for the county? Was he working for the city? He was working at the air show. So I'm sure there are a lot of entities that they're going to sue regardless to whether he has money or not. And the county, we the taxpayers, will be the ones that will pay for it. Also, just a quick note, I got this from Dr. Vanessa Allen about block discussions. There's going to be a block club discussion and training opportunity on May 19th from 9 to 1 p.m. at the Gary Public Library, 200 West 5th Avenue. So,
what is Dr. Vanessa Allen? What is her job?
She is the director and CEO of Urban League of Northwest Indiana.
You're right. It has been a while since you and I sat and talked. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm great.
And I miss it because Tuesday is like I mentioned before. I don't have to prep for Tuesdays because Verley brings it, and there's plenty to talk about. And as always, I want to tell you how much we appreciate you coming in and doing this.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
All right, guys.
And I'll see you next week.
All right, I'm out. Who's up next? And that
looks like Highland.
Highland, town of Highland. I'm out. They're in. I'll see you guys later. It'll be Sam Michael up next. You want to see the Boomer Roberts interview? This will end now. Our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and all that will post, and then you'll be able to go watch that. It happened at about 7:33 this morning, and you can go watch that. Brand new coach at Purdue Northwest. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car